Good afternoon. My name is C.J. Roberts, President and CEO of the new Tampa Bay History Center, a 60,000 square foot building that's going to be a showcase for 12,000 years of our area's history. We are working very closely with surrounding museums, whether it be the Henry Plant Museum, the Ybor City State Museum. I think visitors going to those locations will benefit from also coming to our location to put the story in a broader context, and vice versa. Well, the cigar story, of course, is a rich story, and it's a story of immigration, it's a story of art, a story of music, a story of a unique culture that has grown and evolved in places like Ybor City.
It's a little town just north of Tampa, and it's completely unreal.
Bienvenidos a Ybor. I'm so glad that you have come to see our museum. Ybor City came about when Vicente Martinez Ybor came looking for a place to take his cigar factories. The cigar industry became the second greatest industry in the state of Florida. By 1930, over 75% of the wages in Tampa came from cigar factories.
My name is Alex Kenner. I'm a Park Service Specialist at the Ybor City Museum State Park. And one of the great benefits of coming to the state park is that you get to tour through La Casita. We're going to show you how people used to live back in 1895 here in Ybor City. A lot of people think this is a very large house for a single family, but we have to imagine up to 17 people living in a house like this, and that's when you start to realize just how small the casita was in the time period. Or typically we'd have 3 to 4 children sleeping in a bed like this. So again, very tight quarters for a family, but the sense of pride in owning your own home was very important here in Ybor City.
By 1910, the census had about 12,000 people. Most of those were people who came here to work in the cigar factories, and it grew from there. So it was a tremendous industry for the city of Tampa and for the state of Florida, actually.
Most people come to Ybor City and assume that it's a Cuban town or a Spanish town, but people are very surprised to come here and find that this is very much a larger immigrant community, one of only 2 in the segregated Deep South.
Okay, well, we're now at the historic Central Avenue mural, and we're right across the street, just a little bit west of what used to be Central Avenue. That was a major business and entertainment district for African Americans. And the mural depicts some of the business owners who were very prominent on Central Avenue. This is also where Ray Charles got his start. This is where he fell in love. His daughter, Evelyn, was born here in Tampa, and she still lives here in Tampa. So this is one of the main stops on the Tampa Bay History Tour. Okay, we're now in front of the famous Jackson House, built around 1900. This is where Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King visited in the 1960s. In the 1930s, it said that Ella Fitzgerald wrote a Tisket Tasket inside this house. I'm here at Middleton Senior High School at the Alumni Wall. This wall has the names of 1,720 former students. Of course, Middleton was one of the leaders in public education for African Americans for many years during the days of segregation.
I'm Doretha Wynn Edgecombe, a native of Tampa. I graduated from Middleton High School in 1964. Presently, I serve as a school board member with the Hillsborough County School Board, District 5. We've got people like my husband, who was the first African-American judge, who graduated in 1960 with me, or Sandra Wilson, who was the first African-American female to graduate from the University of South Florida. I hope that people can look at me and say, she went to Middleton, she lived in East Tampa, and yet she was able to achieve her dream. And that's the kind of story that I think that wall represents, that we might have humble beginnings, but we can do great things.
Well, again, this has been just a little bit of the fascinating history of the Tampa Bay area. Next time you're in this area, we want to invite you to take the Tampa Bay History Tour, visit some of these historic sites in Tampa Bay.